everyone, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Inside Now. We was not for sure Rodney was going to join us on this festivities. He's still having problems, evidently. He must not be able to hear us.
Did you do improvements to your studio just like I did today?
Well, for some reason, Rodney is not coming in on us today. But I tell you what probably happened. I think I know exactly what happened. Joey Talanalio Hoyo Coco, whatever his name is, I bet what happened is he lit his boot on fire and gave Rodney a super kick. Could you explain to me, Jack, what in the world are they thinking today? Why would you do that?
Let me think about it. I don't have a clue.
I mean, why?
He's just like so many others. They're looking for that next big pop. They don't understand storytelling. They don't understand actually getting people involved in your match. They just want to pop the crowd by doing this insane stuff. I mean, setting your foot on fire, uh, isn't going to make the kick any stronger than what it normally is. So I don't know. I don't get it.
I saw that and I was thinking to myself, man, what has the wrestling business came to when you're going to, and I guess they've we've caught all kinds of stuff on fire. You'll have to bring that up, Rodney. We can't read that right now. You'll have to bring it up a little higher. They stupid. What Rodney had to say about that. I just couldn't believe that. Let's talk a little bit about the All Elite Wrestling before we move on to what we're going to do. Top 25 tag teams of all time. We're going to start that this week. We'll also look at some programs as we see Southeastern Championship Wrestling program. Rodney, sound still not working, but we'll look through some programs and some photographs. But let's talk about All Elite Wrestling. Ratings have pretty well. Let's look back at the April 6th, 989,000. April 13th, 977,000. April 20th, 930,000. April 27th, 921. May 4th, 833,000. And on May the 11th, which is the last one I had, was 840,000. Do we have the latest ratings, Jack?
I don't have the ratings, but it was, I want to say 960. They were just under 1 million views this past week, which
what
is the
keeps
biggest.
them from what has kept them? Because they've been going on for 3 years, no growth. What keeps them from getting the growth? I mean, WWE has had some growth, but AEW is not.
They're basically doing the same thing they've always done, which they've hinged everything that they do off of bringing in former WWE talents and trying to pop the crowd by doing those entrances. Those first time that they come in. Now they've got some great talent there, but they've never developed their own talent really. There's a handful of people that they have worked, like Jurassic Express. They've worked to try to build them into something, but they're your tag team champs, and they only have matches like once a month. So their formula needs to change if they're ever going to grow beyond what they're doing, because all they're doing is the same thing they've always done.
I just see it's WWE, which is growth is not huge, but at least it's some growth in their product. Where Tony Khan and AEW, I think part of the problem with Tony Khan is what I've seen is somebody said that AEW hot shot angles that burn out quickly. Do you agree with that, Jack?
Uh, I can see that, or they prolong angles to the point where nobody cares.
Yeah, I could. I don't think nobody cares anything about the Young Bucks. I think they could probably go off of television. Nobody would really care. Uh, it's incredible. It's incredible the way the product Tony Khan does his product. He came up with the name Blue Moon Rising or something because he watched I can't whatever the story was, but he watched it. He was watching the lunar eclipse, and he came up with this. And I'm thinking, man, what is he smoking? That's the question while he's watching these. And I'm not saying that's not a good name. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I enjoy a blue moon myself every now and then, but that's weird.
But the things that's going on there is just ridiculous. The storylines are just. I mean, why take Daniel Bryant and put him in, or Daniel, whatever his name is now? Why do they put him in a 3-man tag thing? Is Rodney? Are we hearing Rodney now?
I thought I did.
Not from this, but you're hearing it from another microphone. Can you hear it?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, okay. We can hear you. I just don't get some of the things they do. WWE, I don't understand the alliance. Why anybody cares about that?
Look, I'm not going to down that because honestly, that's about the most interesting storyline that they're doing right now.
But it would have made more sense. Now, this thing would have probably got over if you would have done it. If he was a babyface and you worked something for a whole year, finally worked a deal where he got beat and he came back as this character and said, "I'm the brother," or you did it the opposite way and he was a heel and lost or lose Elite Town match and he came back as the brother. That might make no sense, but it does make no sense whatsoever. I just don't get why anybody would care because they didn't care about him to begin with. It's crazy stuff.
I don't know.
Rodney, what's going on with yourself? I know you hadn't been able to speak at this point, so go ahead and tell us your thoughts on all the stupidity going on in the world of pro wrestling today.
Well, I did get to hear about Tony Khan. Was inspired yet again today after having a bowel movement, and now he's got sewers stopped up as a trademark. He and you'll be seeing that each and every week on his show.
I truly believe if he does not get new bookers and he quits booking himself, I think he's going to be in trouble. I'm just just saying. I don't believe his contract comes up in 2024. I don't think that they'll give him any more money. If he asks for more money and he just keeps on paying out talent more than what they're worth. Let's talk a little bit about CM Punk and the problems going on with Eric Bischoff. This thing is going back and forth like there's no tomorrow. Eric Bischoff saying that CM Punk is the worst disaster, financial disaster of any wrestler in the history of wrestling. Is this true? Is this? Do y'all believe that? Rodney, I'll ask you: is CM Punk a? Well, I don't know exactly the words he waited at, but it was something similar to that effect.
That he was a failure. Was that what he was saying?
Financial failure or something is what he said.
Well,
I'm not really exact.
I think what he meant. I'll try to tap into his mind and say that what Bischoff's trying to say, he did not live up to his expectation. Oh, but Mr. Punk was going to be the one that finally puts Vince McMahon out of business. That didn't happen, now did it? No, it did not. And up to I think Mr. Bischoff has a point that Mr. Punk did not live up to expectations.
But wasn't this the same thing that happened in WWF?
That
he didn't live up to what they thought he would do, and so they ended up pushing Daniel Bryant instead of pushing CM Punk because he was the one who was getting over. Didn't this happen on that program?
I believe so.
And they started pushing him instead. So that's happened to CM Punk a lot. So he must at some point underachieve. Or does he do the same match every time? Because every match I've seen is almost the same exact match he's had. He does the Ric Flair match to a certain extent.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say that he's not good because by today's standards, he's pretty darn good. But he's really no different other than having that. If the whole WWE controversy was not behind him, CM Punk would be just another wrestler in the dressing room. That is his biggest claim to fame, right there.
Yeah. I agree with you. All right. Jack, anything else going on in the world of professional wrestling?
Well, of course, our biggest thing WWE wise is Stephanie McMahon taking an extended leave of absence. As a matter of fact, I was just pulling up on my iPad here that they have started advertising for parts of her job to bring in someone permanent to fill those positions. So that doesn't sound like it's going to be a short leave of absence. Sounds like she's probably going to be gone for a while. As a matter of fact, PW Insider, who is to me the only legitimate source out there, their fact came out and said, we're hearing a lot of things, we can't verify a lot of things, but there's a lot more into it that's going on behind the scenes, that this isn't just simply a leave of absence. So until they confirm everything and get somebody on record saying it, they're not going to report it. But they said that once they can do that and come out with it, it's going to be a big story.
Is the sale fixing to happen?
I would think so.
I mean, you've got Shane that's been gone for a while. You've got now Stephanie left, and Vince McMahon, I believe, is very upset with wrestling at this point. He feels like there's no, he will actually go on record saying he doesn't have any stars. There's no wrestlers. And he's not happy with today's wrestlers. So is it that he's just to a point saying, you know what, I give up.
If he can't go from the talent pool that he's got, and he's got some great talent up there, if he can't make stars out of those people, whose fault is that? It's not theirs. No. They're there. They're willing to contribute. They're chomping at the bit. They're ready to go. And yet Vince is the one who keeps pulling them back.
And that's sad. That's sad. I don't know what the answer is. I do know somebody emailed me the other day, messaged me, and said, "Hey, when's the return date for your wrestling show?" There is no return date for the wrestling show. We just don't find that there's talent that we can bring. We might be able to find 14 today, but what happens a year from now? Can we find another 14?
Here's the thing: is there's a lot of great talent out there. A lot of great talent in independent, especially in the Southeast. Finding the talent with the mindset to comprehend what we're trying to do has been the issue. It's not that they're not there. It's not that they're not capable. It's that from a mental aspect of it, a lot of these guys, men and women, can't see beyond this single booking. We had people flat out tell us, well, that's not going to help me get bookings. Well, you doing it the way you doing it ain't going to help us build a promotion either.
Yeah.
So, and that was our problem. Is it's just the mentality has changed so drastically. I would say over the last 10 years that it's just makes it nigh on impossible unless somebody's got a few $1 million laying out there that wants to invest in it, where we can bring people in and put them under a contract and spend about a year trying to teach them what we want them to do, which, hey, here's the clue. The way we want you to do it, you ain't going to get hurt.
Exactly.
But, it's just hard. It's just hard to do. And if y'all hear, we've got a lot of thunder coming up out here.
So so at this point, no, because we don't believe we can find the talent to do what needs to be done. All right, Rodney, any news that you want to talk about before we get to the top 25 tag teams, at least number 25 on this program?
Oh, number 25. Okay. No, I was a little taken aback by the Road Dogg this past week. He was saying that there was in an interview, he was saying that there's no money in wrestling today. And that was the reason Tony Khan had to buy Ring of Honor. I read that entire story. I did not understand a word he was saying. When was Ring of Honor wrestling, and when is AEW wrestling? I've not seen wrestling being done on either one of those shows. The fact of the matter is, when was the Road Dogg involved maybe in wrestling? It's been many, many years, maybe with Jarrett, but by the time he was working with Jarrett, that was not wrestling anymore either. That was the run-in show, one of the worst shows on television. So I'm not quite sure exactly what he was talking about. Maybe you can explain it. But there's no money in wrestling. That's what he says.
This is what I got out of this. Now, this is the way I got out of it. When he said that, he said Ring of Honor had great wrestling. And probably in a small bits of wrestling matches, they might have had good wrestling matches. The problem was they told no story. There was no story into that, and it's because the way they taped it. I talked to Mr. Joe Koff one time, and I said, "Listen, you'll never make it doing it the way you're doing it, because what they do a TV on let's say a Saturday night, and they would do 4 weeks of television, and every TV would have somebody different on it. They would never wrestle. They would never. I said, and I finally figured out, you know why? Because these morons won't work more than once because they want to be paid 35 times to be on television, which they just hurt themselves because you want to be on TV every week. You know, if you're doing TV, you want to be on every week.
The main thing about Ring of Honor, in my opinion, is that for it to be owned by a TV network, a TV station, they put them at the most awful times on their stations. That never computed in my brain of why it was on at 12 midnight on a Saturday night here in Chattanooga. And I don't think they actually, they made the investment, but they did not promote it as any kind of big wrestling event. They didn't even, I don't recall ever coming to Chattanooga. If they did, they were here and gone before anybody knew it.
Yes, they did. They did.
They did. So it was what was that, the National Guard Armory?
No, it was at the convention center. It's a trading convention center. I think 32 people showed up to watch the show.
32 people. And that was because of the midnight. If they would have played that at midnight, they would have probably got better ratings. I never will understand that whole concept. But this idea that there's no money in wrestling, that's because no one knows how to do wrestling. All they can do is the sports entertainment. All they're saying, and I think Jamie Dundee was in that interview as well. And all they're saying is that all people want to be is entertained. Well, that's how you get the maximum. I think SmackDown had the best ratings it's had in quite some time, over 2 million people this past Friday for the unification match. That's because they built this thing for the last few weeks, building it up. Of course, they did a bait and switch for the last pay-per-view for this match as well. But anyway, but this idea that that there's no money in wrestling, I think it's absurd. And that's because they haven't done it in so long, they don't know how.
Yeah, when I hear them talk about that, and I hear them talk about, there's no money in wrestling, that's true. That's true to a certain extent. But you've got to have more wrestling than the comedy. And is that what they're thinking wrestling is now? A comedy show? And you have to have comedy in it for it to be. I mean, is that what he's talking about? He says glamour and glitz, but there's no glamour and glitz even in any of the wrestlers. They all look alike. There's nobody with nice robes. There's not a guy that comes out looks different than the other guy. There's no Abdullah the Butchers. There's no. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, do they believe they have glamour and glitz in wrestling today, Jack?
I think they think that, but they're missing the one key element of being a professional wrestler, and that is presenting it in a believable way.
Right.
They're just not doing that.
Right. And honestly, Road Dogg never really was a serious wrestler. He was always comedy. Very rare that he was not. And the fact of the matter is, Jamie as well was also comedy in most of his matches. I'm sorry, I hate to be that way, but that's the truth. He was comedy. He was a clown, and that works good for the circus, but not too well for the wrestling.
And evidently, if you're Ringling Brothers and Bala Bitty Circus, they're going back on the road, and they don't like clowns, so there'll be no clowns on the show. The Fields sisters don't like clowns, so there will be no clowns.
Oh my goodness!
Clowns are animals. They will be on the show.
No clowns, no clowns, no animals. So
no, I don't even think the word circus is going to be in it. So I guess they take.
They're going to go around like Tony Khan calling it the greatest show on earth.
Is Vince McMahon behind this?
Maybe. All right, top 25 tag teams of all time. Here's my number 25. Got him right here. David Schultz, Dennis Condrey, number 25. If you've never got to see him, we got to see him several times wrestling for this company, Southeastern Championship Wrestling. Also, I believe they did go work for Nick Gulas during the same time on Wednesdays. I think our father, Ronnie West, was booking it for a while for Nick Gulas until he got his payoff, and it was $2, and he decided he didn't want to go back there and work. No, I don't think it was $2, but I really think business was doing good. Jim Barnett pulled him from it. I think that's exactly what happened.
Right. And Wednesday nights they were off in Knoxville. So Schultz and Condrey and Dad rode over to Nashville on Wednesday nights. And Schultz and Condrey will steal the show, no doubt.
And did. All right. Top 25, Rodney. Who's on your number?
Well, being that I am now just knowing about this, I will go with the Dirty White Boys / Grapplers. Lynn Ditton, Tony Anthony.
You know, they were very good. And never go back and watch them in Mid-South Wrestling. They were very good at what they did. A lot of Anderson type moves. A lot of Ole and Gene Anderson type moves that they did during their matches. And I never really noticed that as the Grapplers. Did they do that as the Grapplers?
Well, if you watch Lynn Ditton by himself, he would wrestle a lot like Ole. He really did. And I think there's definitely an Anderson influence on their team.
Yeah. Jack, what do you think about these two tag teams that we, Dennis Condrey, David Schultz, and Lynn Ditton, Tony Anthony?
I love both of them. I thought they were great. They didn't make my top 25, but they probably would have made my top 35.
There you go. All right, top 25, Jack.
Mine is one of the favorite tag teams I ever actually got to wrestle with, and that is the Nightmares, Danny Davis and Kenny Wayne.
Oh, yes. So good in the ring. So good that knew exactly what they were doing. Johnny Rich against Nightmares, tremendous matches from Continental. And the Nightmares against Tony Anthony and Jerry Stubbs. Tremendous matches. The Nightmares had good matches, and they would have long matches, 45-minute tag team matches, hour tag team matches, just tremendous. And then Nightmares leave, and they put Robert Fuller and Jimmy Golden. They had 3-minute matches. I wonder why the territory went down. I'm just wondering why maybe the territory went down at that point. You can't go from 45-minute matches to 6 or 7-minute matches and think your territory is going to continue drawing well. That's just the way it goes. So Kenny and Danny, tremendous in the ring. Let's go see what the insiders have got to say. Jason Mundy is with us. Dr. Philbo Grice is with us. David Bice. Good evening, guys. Have a great show. Michael Barr is with us. Wendy Harkins. Richard Hood. Let's see. Mickey Mayfield is with us. Well, good evening, insiders and the professors of Wrestleology. I think Jack's got us, he's put us together something, and he's been putting it on there. I've seen it on his stuff, and we're going to be putting it on some stuff in the next few weeks. But it says that we are the professors of Wrestleology. So there we go.
And a special shout out to Dr. Philbo Grice for naming us.
That's right. Michael Barr said, Rodney, your sound is off or unplugged.
I don't know what's happened here.
Not enough pyro or fireworks. I'm not even going to have to worry about that no more. All I have to do now is set my boot on fire.
That would make that guy the greatest wrestler of all time, I believe, the best in the world.
If what's his name is doing the rating system, Dave Meltzer, is that how you say his name? Meltzer. He'll probably tell us that's a number. That's probably a 5-star match because he lit up his thing. What's happened to that man? He used to knock everybody else having bad matches, but have you ever noticed nobody in this new era of wrestling has a bad match? They all have great matches. I'm thinking, how can everybody have a good match? Somebody got to have a sucky.
No, let me just say this, and Mr. Meltzer or Alka-Seltzer, whatever his name is. He has no idea, first of all, what he's talking about. There's only one best wrestler in the world that should only get to 5 stars, and that's the one with his own clock counting down. I mean, the world stops when Cody Rhodes and the tattoo that everybody had a fit over last week. Oh, the tattoo on the neck. That's just a stellar and makes you the best wrestler in the world. Well, it does. Sorry, that's last week we had stories about Cody's neck tattoo. Looks like a gigantic hickey on his neck. That just shows somebody sucking on his neck again. I just wonder who. I bet it's Meltzer, Seltzer, whatever his name is.
Check the sound controls of your laptop. Oh, well, he's already got that going. We can pass on by that.
My microphone might be dead.
Jason Mundy said AEW hot shot angles that burn out quickly. Mickey Mayfield, number 25, Tiger Conway Jr. and Pork Chop Cash.
Yeah,
Bobby Cash. Always loved that. Loved him. You know, I don't know that I ever seen them as a tag team though. I don't know that I ever watched. Are they on YouTube anywhere?
Hey, Mickey, when were they teaming?
I remember they did team with each other. I think it was North Carolina, right? But I don't know that I've seen any videos of them. Wendy Harkins, Janela must have thought it would look cool or sound good, but it was a very stupid choice. I just don't get it.
Well, he decided that he was going to give up his wrestling boots and go with tennis shoes or some kind of Reebok, possibly even barefooted. And then when he sets his foot on fire, he'll be given the hot foot, if you know what I'm saying. It's a very terrible.
Honestly, when I heard it, I thought, I had to take some pain pills for my back. It was hurting me really, really bad. And I thought maybe I took 1 or 2, 3 too many. And I just thought that up. But no, he actually did it. I was just crazy. It's just crazy. I watched a little AEW this week, and I see some of them having short careers, given some of the risks they are taking. Yeah, Dark Football, yes. And within a year, some of them guys. I think that one guy, that Sammy Garvali or whatever.
Yeah.
What happened to Dusty Rhodes, Tommy Rich? What happened to those simple names that you could actually announce and pronounce? Are you going to be sitting on the side of the street going, "Hey, that's Sammy"? Well, I don't even know what his name is, so forget about it. I don't even want to. You could say Tommy Rich. You could say Abdullah the Butcher. What? These names are getting too hard for people to say. People could say Jack Lord. You should have had you name something else. You should have named yourself something really hard to say.
Tiberius Lord was what I was going to go by, but I couldn't spell Tiberius.
Yes, we agree with that, don't we? Everybody's taking too much risk today. And when someone dies on live television, that was going to be the end of wrestling. It'll be on YouTube, even if YouTube allows it to be on there.
Yeah, and to think about it, just take a look at Big E. We still do not know when he's returning. It's just it's not worth it. It's simply not worth it.
Nope. Jason Mundy.
You should work on trying to get yourself over and not putting on a stunt show.
And that's what it is. Number 25, Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood. If you've not seen them, they were so good as a tag team. And I don't know that they were a tag team long enough. Maybe 6 months, 8 months at most?
Quite a while.
Maybe a year, but nowhere near long enough. Of course, I understood they saw Big Bunny and Ricky.
Yeah.
So they wanted to push him with the singles guy. But man, what a team they were.
Oh, they were so good. The Midnight Express Incorporated. Now, I think Michael Barr is talking about the first tag team. I think would be Randy Rose, Dennis Condrey, Norville Austin. The original Midnight Express. Love the shirt. Wendy Harkins. Tracy Smothers shirt. He left us way too early, no doubt. Richard Hood, number 25, the Nightmares.
That's right. That's what Jack had.
Now, there were another tag team as well, the Nightmares. Ted Allen and Billy Starr, correct?
Yes, they were.
They were good as well.
Ted and Danny were the actual original first Nightmare tag team in the Memphis area, and then Ted left after a few weeks, and that's when they brought Kenny Wayne in to take that spot. And then when Ted moved back to Georgia, he and Billy Starr started doing the gimmick over there.
And they were good too.
Yeah.
Oh, they were just tremendous together.
Billy Starr was always great. I mean, to be 120 when he was doing it, I thought that
Wow.
You know, how Danny Davis used to tell me, he said, I used to ask when Ted said he was going to leave, he said, we were making good money. He said, in Memphis, he said, around $800, $900 a week, sometimes $1,000. Great money for the Memphis territory. He said, Ted, why are you leaving? Well, I just want to go run my own stuff there in Georgia, be at home. And he said, but what about me? We're just not getting this thing going. What about me? And he said, well, I just got to go. And then they bring Ken. Well, I bet Ken Wayne was happy about that.
Well, Ted also had a lot of pressure from his wife. About moving back home, and that's really one of the main reasons he did, which didn't work out anyway.
Yeah, well, it worked out all right for Ted, though. Great shirt, Jack, from David Bias. Wendy Harkins says, number 25, the Mounties. Jacques Rougeau, and what was the other guy's name?
Pierre? Was that the Pierre Lefebvre?
I can't remember the other guy's name. So if somebody else knows the other Mountie's name, let us know. Jacques Rougeau all over the place now. I mean, he is all over the place. Only thing I thought is Jacques Rougeau he did a little gift showing that little guy from AEW, the little guy with the makeup, whatever that guy's name is. You know who I'm talking about? Not Sting, but the other guy, the little bitty guy.
Danhausen.
Well, no, he's like Sting's protege or something.
Darby Allin.
Darby Allin. He showed him coming off of this, I guess, 23,000-foot ladder, and he said, "Oh, one of my students can do that, but why would you want him to do that, Jock? Goodness gracious sakes alive!" I was wondering to myself, as the whole world just went crazy.
Paul Ante says it was Raymond Rougeau, but now I remember he and Raymond wrestling as the Rougeau brothers, not as the Mounties.
Yeah, this was some
Carl Lee. That's it.
Jack, that's Rougeau brothers.
Rougeau.
That's what Jerry Stubbs would call him. He said, "Let me tell you something, Jacques Rougeau." Oh, talking about that. Let's go ahead and let everybody know about this. Don't miss the Fan Fest. The Fan Fest, Continental Championship Wrestling Fan Fest, Saturday, July 2nd, the Crossing at Big Creek. Big show there. A lot of people. I've got next week, we'll give you a whole lot more information about it. A ton of other wrestlers have been signed for this. I think tickets, I think they actually went on sale. And I think you can go to their Facebook page and get their tickets. But you got Tony Atlas going to be on that card. Scott Armstrong will be there. Just don't try to get in touch with him; he'll never call you back. Then you've got what'd you say her name was? Camilla against Miranda Gordy. Ton of stuff. I seen where Ron Fuller was going to be there. Robert Fuller, Jimmy Golden. I don't know, Wendell Cooley, maybe. I'm not. Maybe I said
yes, Wendell Cooley and who is it he tags with?
Frankie Lancaster.
Frankie Lancaster.
Oh, he was in. Wasn't he in one of these? Yeah, he was in one of these magazines last week, wasn't he? I'm pretty sure he was.
That's right. He was the blank centerfold in that one program.
Oh, here, Frankie Lancaster's picture right there. There you go, for Frankie.
Right, there it is.
We will not. None of us will be able to be there, but we're going to be there in spirit. and we hope you come out, buy you a ticket, and have a good time at the Continental Championship Wrestling Fan Fest. It will be a great show and a lot of great memories about a lot of great wrestlers. All these great wrestlers: Ron Fuller, Jimmy Golden, Robert Fuller, Wendell Cooley, Scott Armstrong. I think Lord Humongous may be on this event as well.
He is. A matter of fact, he messaged me the other day asking if we were going to come.
Unfortunately, I'm going to be on the way back from a cruise.
Yes. He's going on a cruise.
I'm going on a cruise that week.
He's going to be on a cruise.
So no,
what ship? What ship was that again?
I don't remember what ship it is.
Oh, it's one of them though.
It's one of the Carnival ships.
It's one of the Carnival ones. Yes, you'll be gone for a week. I remember.
Yeah, on that cruise.
As you
Eric
reminded me over and over again. Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put a little next week. I'll put a little thing here, and it'll say what day, what time, and maybe even a countdown on the thing. So people,
that will make you a star for sure.
There is no mystery in wrestling anymore. The cat's out of the bag, so to speak, and their lousy storylines are cringeworthy. From Eric Crawford. 222.
There he is.
I don't understand. I don't understand how easy it could be to tell a story. How easy it could have been if you could have told the story of Ezekiel, or however you say his name, and that guy, if he would either been a great babyface or a great heel, and then came back as his brother, would have been tremendous. But at this point, I'm not for sure what they're doing. No foul or smelly language on the show, right?
I'm just calling it like I see it with Mr. Khan. You know, he's so easily impressed by things.
Well, I wish you would be impressed and give us $1 million a piece a year. We'll go ahead and take it. But we're not going to tell you your products, Greg.
I'm sorry, my friend. You're out of luck with that because you have to come for the WWE before you get that kind of money.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, I forgot. 24, the East-West Connection. Is that Dick Murdoch, Adrian Adonis? Or is that Adrian? Or is that
Jesse Ventura?
Jesse Ventura
and Adrian Adonis.
That's right. I guess that's who that is, right?
Right.
Because I think they were the West, whatever you call it. What's causing all this? 73-year-old Ric Flair returns to the ring July 31st. If you'd like to get tickets, I believe there's their VIP ticket, and I'm not for sure. Jack, I think you might have said this if you could afford to go. Was that ticket not like $1,800 or something?
It was almost $2,000. That was 2 tickets. That was for the whole weekend and the ringside seats. That's an awful lot of money.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I could go on a couple of cruises for that. So I'm not going to
because no matter how many times you're going to get to meet Ric Flair over the weekend, he's still going to be snobby.
I don't want to say. Hey, did y'all notice that the Ric Flair and Jay Lethal video was fastened up? It was made to go faster than it was originally done. So how slow was it?
Well, people are so used to watching all wrestling shows like that now, they have to do all of them.
But you can't do that live. So what's that going to do?
Well, they're going to make him look good because they're going to use the WWE method of like 24 camera angles.
That would make it good. Sure.
Sorry, I don't see the big deal about CM Punk. I was very impressed with CM Punk. I really was, but I think he's not. I don't think he's helping himself any. He's going on. I think him, Tony Khan, the rest. They just need to get off of social media. Get off of social media, and quit knocking other people. That's just ridiculous.
Don't talk politics or religion. That's been a long set rule in professional wrestling because you don't want to alienate half your audience. Yeah. And and Punk's doing that. The T-shirts he's wearing out. I'm not giving my views about anything, but I'm just.
He's not helping himself. No doubt he's
not. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you people totally missed the point of CM Punk's shirt. He's not talking about the loss of a baby or a child. He's talking about his matches.
Well, there's a crude joke there that I'll just leave alone.
It's one after another after another. It's your nightly Dynamite.
Oh,
What is this one will be? Blood Moon Rising will be another one. He'll be able to go on there and have another one of those.
is Tony Khan a big mark? I mean, I don't like to use
Yeah.
that word. I hate to use that word, but is he what you would consider the biggest mark in the world? If there's a word for it, is he one of those?
If he's not, he's sure shooting for that illusion real hard.
I mean, because everything he says and everything he does is based on what he wants to see him personally himself.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care if he doesn't care if it follows a guideline. It doesn't matter if it does a storyline makes any sense. If there's a there's a story that he doesn't care any about any of that stuff. He just blindly going out there going, hey, oh man, I want to see that so bad. Yeah, but the guy's a babyface. Well, that's all right. I'm gonna still have him do it, and we're gonna have a no disqualification, no time limit match on this. But why are you having the no time limit? No disqualification? Because it just would be good. What does him think? Why is it not? I'm more impressed with Moxley. Don't care nothing about Moxley. Sorry, I think he's worthless. Thought he was worthless in WWE. He believes he's Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Stone Cold Steve Austin in his time could whip his tail from one side to the other in actual shoot. There was nothing he could have done about it because he's not in shape enough to do it. And Bryan Danielson, I don't know what he did. He must just gave up and said, "I'm taking my money, and that's all I'm gonna do." I mean, because he had great matches. Why did they allow him to put him with it? Why did he allow them to put him in a 6-man tag so he didn't have to work?
Yes, I don't know.
He was so good, the stuff he was doing. They had him as a heel. It was doing tremendous, and then they just forgot that even. It's sad. It's sad.
Once again, I take you back to CM Punk shirt. There you go.
Number 25, the Moondogs. I'm guessing we're talking about Larry Lathan and Randy Colley as the Moondogs. They were good. I didn't like the way they were used in Memphis too much, but I don't think that was Randy Colley at that point. I think that was Larry Lathan, Larry Booker, and some other guy. I'm not for sure who that other guy was. But I thought WWE, they used them tremendously. I guess that would be the WWWF. I just missed the days in wrestling when match after match was quality. But they think every match has to have an angle to it now. They think every match has to have some kind of stupidity in it and some kind of 25 different false finishes. I mean, can a guy not just get rolled up for a 3 count? Oh no! Now he's got to get run over by a car, get run over by a bus, a plane come through, pick him up, take him and land him on the stage. He get back up, then get rolled up.
You left something out. There has to be an outside distraction.
Oh yes, I'm sorry.
You left out the outside of the ring distraction. Could be just the music starting. Could be a light blowing out.
And then they wonder why the Hardys are not drawing now. I don't know. Your brother's being beat up, and you come out with your music and dancing instead of coming and helping them. But now everybody knows it's a bunch of bullcrap because you're showing it's a bunch of bullcrap. But people don't want to see that. They want to see something that makes sense.
Brent, you have went too far. Now, Steve Austin has corrected everybody about this. That is a show now. And so if I'm going out there, somebody's getting beat up, they have to start my music because it's all about the production now. Okay. Did you not hear this story from Mr. Steve Austin? He is a genius. He's a brilliant man. He's out there, he's saying, oh yes, when somebody's getting the crap beat out of them, you have to wait till your music starts to come down the aisle. And I think it works if you're Steve Austin, but everybody else, it doesn't.
Yeah, but he did, but he didn't stop the dance when he come down the ringside to whip somebody's tail.
He got him a beer or two before he got to the ring. He didn't care about him anyway, because normally he'd come in there, make the save, and then he'd beat them up too. So it didn't matter. For him, it's okay to take your time, but it doesn't make any sense for anybody else to do it.
Well, I'm
I
gonna tell
will
you,
say this: at least when Roman Reigns came back out and distracted, let's say, Randy Orton Jr. and the Riddler for the Usos to win the championships the other night. At least they didn't play the music for him to come down first.
well, I want y'all to know if I'm on July 2nd, right? If I'm at Dothan and I'm at that crossing and I'm being beat up, for goodness sakes, don't y'all wait till that music plays before y'all come out here. Because what if the guy takes a long time playing his music?
Well, you could be like Carl Fergie and just go to the concession stand and get you a popcorn and Coke and sit there and watch this man happen.
I come running back through there and he's sitting there eating they're just beating the crap out of Ricky Morton, man. And he's just sitting there eating that stuff, just watching. I said, hey, I run back through there. So you gonna go help him? He said,
he said, yeah, I guess I need to.
And you know what he told me? He said, just a minute. I got to go put my popcorn and my Coke up. I just thought that. I don't want to lose my popcorn and Coke. I'll be out there in a minute and help you, Danny. But I got to make sure my popcorn and Coke is ready for me when I get through. Has Arn Anderson left AEW, Jack? I'm not for sure.
No. He's still working as an agent, I believe, behind the scenes. He's easy to spot because he's the one who gets the script and goes,
haven't seen or heard anything since Cody left. I don't keep up with it, so I don't.
He's actually been on there because his son still wrestles upon that great occasion, and Arn still goes to the ring.
Hey, now Richard Hood, he had 2 number 23s. I'm thinking the number 24 was Lightning Express, which Tim Horner, Brad Armstrong, I will agree with that. Tremendous tag team. They didn't make my list because they wasn't in a tag team long enough. But he also put 23 the Jive Tones, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was that Pez Watley? Who was the other guy?
Richard will tell us.
I think Pez Watley was one of them. But I'm not for sure who the other one was. Joel Bateman is with us. Michael Barr. Who out there has the money to purchase the WWE? Any clues? NBC.
There's several, yeah. Disney, NBC, Universal.
Whenever they do buy it, give them about 5 years and wrestling will be off the air completely. So they will.
Richard was saying the other one was Tiger Conway Jr.
Tiger Conway Jr. All right. David By says the full-blown Italians. Is that Tommy Rich and someone? Tracy Smothers? And somebody else?
May have been.
Because Tommy Rich, he is one of the biggest Italian performers of all time.
And Tracy. I asked him, Tracy, what is this? He said, I don't know. But it gets over.
If you've not, we've talked about this before. If you've not seen it, go watch. Tracy is at the In Sound Clown Posse's backyard bash. Where he is, man.
Turn the volume down.
But man, that is, and there's another video that surfaced where he is wrestling somebody at this little gymnasium, and I mean, he breaks out in a big riot there. He has to fight a bunch of people. Tracy just was one of those heat-getting people that could really get the people rocking and rolling. He just beat up everybody that was in front of him. If you got in front of him, he beat you up. If this man wants to sell the WWE, it just seems like he does.
And I'm going to tell you what, seeing Vince at WrestleMania this year, he has aged so much. Now, I'm not saying he probably still hadn't got 20, 30 years ahead of him. I mean, his mother just died. She was, like 100 years old. Yeah. So he may well, because Vince is known, to take care of his health. But, what's the use of having billions of dollars if you're going to work all the time? I mean, there comes a point in life where you've got to step back and say, let me just spend some of this.
Exactly. Because he doesn't really have nothing to prove.
No.
I mean, he is now $1 billion company. He brought it to $1 billion company. What does he have to
Nobody else in our lifetime is ever going to build a company to the financial standards and heights that he has done with WWE. Never be done again. Not while we're still
do? No, I don't think so. Larry Henning and Harley Race, number 22 for Richard Hood. Mimi Barboza. Always loved that. Barboza. Sorry, I'm always late. And Jack will have that. He'll send that to you. You're on Facebook, Mimi
here.
Barboza.
Fun. Sam, holding on to the last one. I forgot to go to the store today.
Richard Hood also going. Richard's sending us all his. He ain't gonna have nothing to talk about here in the next couple of weeks. Ray Stevens, Pat Patterson. Too much sports entertainment. I don't even know if it's sports entertainment. I'm not even sure it's that.
Well, that's all, as we know. That's all that the wrestling fans want today is entertainment.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Yes,
they're watching AEW in droves.
That's right.
Well, I watch a lot of movies, and what are your highest rated movies? It's those action movies, which I enjoy. I do. I enjoy the action movies. But when you start looking at those great dramas out there, and I'll recommend them on my Facebook, I watch great dramas, and if it's a great story, I'm going to tell people about it. But the ratings for those are so much lower because people don't want to take the time to invest in them anymore. They want that, explosions and people getting killed and everything else. Wrestling's no different.
If you've not watched Picard, the second season, tremendous writing, tremendous story, just a tremendous story all the way.
And Strange New World, same thing.
Yes,
new Star Trek series. Woo, man, that's good stuff.
Written very nicely. Hey, Tony Khan, watch those and see how you're supposed to tell a story. That's all I'm going to. Nostalgia Eric is a seductive liar. What in the world is he talking about?
You're talking about Eric Bischoff talking about the past.
I remember sitting through what we called the Primlum bums and some boring, irrelevant Primlums in my day, but don't get me wrong, I missed those days too. But you had to have that because somebody had to get over. No one can get over. No one stands out.
You either told stories or you built wrestlers. That was the purpose of TV.
Yeah. And no matter what people want to say about Eric Bischoff, 83 weeks he defeated Vince McMahon. No one has ever done that since, and they're not going to now. And he did the exact thing Tony Khan is doing now.
Yeah, and he has said that, and I think if you were to go back or go forward, if you were to give him the money to run a company, I think Eric Bischoff could build a heck of a company because he learned from his mistakes. And he said letting people control their own character was the worst mistake he ever made as far as WCW.
And he gave him
letting the inmates run the asylum. You can't do that. Can't be everybody's buddy. You can't be nobody's buddy when you're in charge.
No, and Eric Bischoff is trying to tell Tony Khan, I'm telling you, you're making a mistake. And I at least had a base. Wrestling wasn't at the point it is now, and probably 2 million people was the least amount of people watching wrestling back then. But now you got 890,000 people. It's not improved any that you brought any of these guys from WWE. They were doing as good with the footlighting Joey Janela than they were with CM Punk on the main event, which is sad. It's because he's already killed them off. He's already killed that group of people off because he didn't know what to do with them, and so sad. And Eric Bischoff had one ideal, and he never had nothing to go back with it. Unfortunately, he had the NWO thing and didn't know where to go after that. Too much pyro, too many belts, and not in a factory. Hey, and they're going to be more belts in AEW. I think they want every wrestler to have one.
They're fixing to do trios and 2 more belts.
Yeah, he said he already had them made.
Plus, now you're using all that Ring of Honor championships too.
Yeah.
Man, I feel left out. I'm the only one that don't have a title.
The actual now, everybody that's actually going to be there at that Ric Flair show, they should all have a championship belt as much as they're paying for that thing. They're all should have like a replica World Heavyweight Championship belt.
I was actually going to rent that till I found out it's that Game Changer wrestling. I don't.
Oh, I didn't even know that's what it was. I call it professional wrestling. Joe Bateman, Michael is with us. Michael, how are you doing? Richard, I'm going to keep your rest of your 19 because we're going to do 25, 24, 23, 22 each and every week. So I'm going to leave yours there until we get to those numbers. Rodney, if it is not the old school wrestling of the days, I don't even think I would bore you. I'm not even so stuck in old school wrestling. I just want a story. I just want a story. I don't have to be old school. Just give me a story. Just tell me a story. Give me something 12 weeks and work down and let it end in some form or fashion that I'm going to get excited about.
I'm going to tell you, I know you're going to be excited about this one. But something that they've never done before in WWE ever. Now they've added Bedtime Becky to the championship match with Bianca and Asuka.
I did not see that coming.
You did
Mainly
not see that.
I missed the show, so I didn't see it coming.
It's a first time. They've never done it before. It was shocking. Absolutely shocking.
Hey, before we get too far here, I had a couple of guys message me earlier today. They wanted to get their picks of number 25 in. Rodney Malcolm had to work tonight, and he picked Buddy Rose and Doug Summers. Yeah. And then Jeremiah Lawson picked Phil Hickerson and Dennis Contry. And for some reason, this note, I don't know if y'all can see that. Rodney, I'm going on a cruise. Feed my dog. I don't know how that note got here.
Yes.
Anyway.
I'm sorry I haven't. Normally he sends me a picture of the ship and everything. This is where we'll be.
Where's
your cabin at?
It's an unbelievable soap opera today from Chad Marsh.
And that's the key word, unbelievable. Because I grew up watching soap operas with my grandmothers, and I believe those. They believe those. They're not giving us anything to believe anymore. And I desperately still want to be a fan. Even though I've been in this business all these years, I want you to pull me into what's going on. And all you're doing is throwing water in my face.
I have a question.
I'm not even sure it's water. I think it's feces.
I have a question. When Ramon Reigns and the Usos were beating up Randy Orton Jr. and Riddler on SmackDown, why were they getting all the crowd shots? Why were they zooming in on kids' faces and that kind of thing? I was perplexed by that. I'm thinking, if kids are sitting at home and want to be terrified, this is the way to do it.
They were trying.
They said they're using old footage of fans in the crowd.
Oh, do they? Well, it's if it's possible.
I would not be surprised. I know that last night that was a part of the promo they did. Was talking about making kids cry.
Oh,
so
well, then that's
they
probably
leading to that.
That's probably what that was about, because I could not, for the life of me, all of this stuff going on, why they were getting so many crowd shots while the
well, when you've got 400 cameras, you're going to catch something else.
Sure, and I honestly I missed the beating up. I was wanting to see that so bad. It's very rare that we get to see that, even though I was shocked that the Usos picked up the steps and hit Randy Orton with it. Shocking.
That was new.
I'm telling you right now.
There's no main event superstar. Now I think Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar might be it.
Here and I'll agree with that. I think Roman Reigns is really the only true superstar that they have built and developed since The Rock. But here we are. Now he's got this deal where he's not going to be doing house shows anymore. So where's your draw at now? You don't have any other major top star, and now he's not going to be your draw at house shows anymore. I just don't get that. I mean, I don't blame Roman for taking that deal, but I just don't get where WWE's going.
Yeah, how's that going to help them in the live shows? It does it. Charles Alford said comedy, dimes, and ladders. Yes, a lot of ladders.
Exactly.
You know, I'm pretty sure Vince and Tony both, they've got stock in some ladder company because they certainly buy a lot. You're right, Mako, but still wrestling at such low point now. Now it's like I wish I could hit restart. Yes. At some point, they'll have to hit a restart. I mean, where can you go from this? Charles Bellflower, number 25, Gene and Lars Anderson. Before Ole Anderson, I'm guessing Charles is talking about. I never got to see Gene and Lars. Just them teaming. Too many want to be superstars. Yes, that's the truth. Even at the little level of 25 people, wrestling 25 people, there are some people who believe they're stars. And $150 for those 25 people. That can build makes no sense. I missed old Adrian Street. Now, I don't know if Adrian liked it because you called him old, Terry. I'm not for sure. Still to this day, probably Adrian could beat us all.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, so Michael, number 25, Barry Windham, and Mike Rotundo. What were they called in WWE? The American
U.S. Express.
U.S. Express, yes. All right, I don't even know who these people are. The
Kamlikov brothers.
Is that a Canadian tag team that we wouldn't know about? So I've never seen them, but I am going to look them up, Paul. I am going to look them up. Let's see.
I think I've seen the name, but I've never seen them.
Now, Joe, I think he's telling us that the Road Warriors are on my list of tag teams. They'll probably be on my list as well. Now, where? I don't know. I hear you, brother. If you restart, at least the rewind.
Hey, you know who's not making my top 25 list? Same guy that didn't make my top 10, Ric Flair.
Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA, as Michael Barr talked about. Yes, Michael Barr also talked about Flash, Sputnik, Monroe. Tremendous tag team. Need more Stan Hansen, Digmark type wrestlers and Fullers and Goldens.
Lord.
Yes, we agree with you, Joel French. That is something we do need. Whatever people want to say, Jimmy Golden could go. He could go. He was so good inside the ring.
Absolutely anybody deceptive. Really, he did not look as big as he actually is.
Yeah, that's true. Christopher Hughes said, "Evening guys, just off work. What tag teams owe you this week?" Number 25. Now, what does he? What's he?
Decepticons. Yes, absolutely.
What does that mean? Am I missing?
I guess
that's the Transformers.
To the Cody Rhodes neck tattoo. It's very
is that
big,
what that
gigantic,
is?
No, it's his own version, but it's similar to that.
Oh, okay. All right. Mr. Olympian, the Junkyard Dog from Michael Barr. Martin Fuqua, maybe. Fuqua. Tiger Conway Jr. teamed with Pistol Pez Watley. Marty Wycliffe. Is that how you say his name, Jack? Wycliffe? Dang it, man. I wish I had known about the tattoo gimmick when I was in the business. I'd have been a superstar instead of a WCW joke.
And you have to have it in a specific place, right at the carotid artery right here.
You know, his wife was upset because he got that. Not as upset as all the fans.
Let's see. I'm going past people because we are running out of time. We're over time. I think there's a sound problem with all three of your voices. I'm not following what you're saying.
We're doing a Japanese impersonation. We're being done.
All we're trying to do is keep you up with Tony Khan's booking. We just don't make it. That's what we're trying to. Christopher Hughes, and I'm going ahead and say this number 24 Mod Squad because we may never hear Mod Squad ever hitting a top 25 in wrestling ever. Here's my problem with them. Poor boys could not get what you would tell them half the time. I remember we'd give them finishes, and our father would give them finishes in Kansas City, and they would mess them up every time. It never failed. So Dad one day told them, "So listen," he said, "Here we go now. Here's you, and then here's your part when you're going to run past them, and then you're going to go like that. See, look, see, you're going to land." He thought maybe, just maybe, they could grab if they saw it visually done. Didn't work.
No, it didn't work because they couldn't figure out which one was them and who was the opponent.
Nice guys. Very nice guys. Jefferson, very nice men, very nice guys, but they could not get the wrestling business, and thought they should be used better than they were. And
it's funny. I think they trained James Storm.
Where's that at? All right, where was I at?
Michael Robertson.
Well, no, I think that was way up there, wasn't it? I think I hit him from way down somewhere.
I think. Let's say. Wait a second. Here we go. We got. I can take you on back. I'll take you on back. Let's. I
don't even know where I was at. All right, y'all had me. Yeah, y'all got.
Oh, wait a minute. Here's one we have to. I can't let this one go by. This one put Mr. Hughes in pain. Austin Idol and Tommy Rich, right there.
Tommy Rich, I'm all right with. I never really had a problem with Tommy Rich. As far as in ring and what he did inside the wrestling ring, maybe some personal things as far as things he did on his off time, but as far as wrestling, I've seen Tommy Rich have some great matches. I did. I seen have great matches with Buzz Sawyer. Also had seen one of the worst matches he had with Buzz Sawyer. Dyersville, Georgia comes to mind. Worst match I ever seen anybody ever have, I think. Now I tell you what.
Wait a minute.
All right, what is it?
Oh, Mr. Hughes wants to agree here. And there's Paul. He's telling about the brothers there from Toronto and Buffalo in the late 50s and early 60s. Fed into the Cold War era at the time.
I want to have to see. Are there any videos of them? I want to see these guys.
Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. We have to be acknowledged here. Finally, the great one has arrived. Acknowledge me, Victor Nash. Victor, who did we get your number 25 tonight?
Generic wrestler here. Generic wrestler. 25, top 25. Hey, let me talk about that. Would these guys make your list? I was out for playing with them here, and
well, yes, several people's. That was yeah. And if I watched the video of the other night, and the announcer was calling them Steve Lane and Stan the Kern. Let's see, but there were several of them that had the Fabs on there. Oh, here we go.
Did I just miss something though? Did I miss something? I mean, I just didn't see how they were baby faces.
Well, it was kind of misleading when you put Steve Kern, Stan Lane, and then the word fabulous in with them together. That's probably the problem there. That could be it. That's probably what threw you off.
Send all your cards and letters to Jack Lord at
No, this is Jack Lord. That's right. We don't. This is a question that I don't know the answer to. Eric Crawford, who was Mr. Wrestling number 2's favorite
No,
wrestler?
he told me one time. He did tell me who his favorite wrestler was, and it is escaping me at this point. But he did say who his favorite wrestler was, and he eventually got to wrestle him. And I don't remember who he said. Now it could be Lou Thesz, but that doesn't sound right. I'll have to go back and look, and maybe Robert told us who his favorite wrestler was.
We have to get Robert back on so we can ask him that question, because I'm unclear. I'm not clear. Mostly when we were talking to two, it was about people he had worked with.
Yeah.
And time he has spent, and man, he could give you. He was a great teacher, and he could tell you how to get over, and why things worked when they did. Rick Brooks, my number 25 is short tag team, and from '67, the Internationals, Al Costello and Carl Von Breyer.
All right, Rodney, I'm gonna, because I don't know where you're at, so I'm gonna let you just keep on moving on while you're doing that.
Okay, are we gonna hit everybody's number 10s and these other
No,
numbers?
we'll do that. We'll do that.
Okay,
we'll do that.
hold on to those. Mimi right here. She's got. I really love old school wrestling, as we do as well. I think it was the week before last. I was able to watch. Lawler and Terry Funk. The empty arena match was awesome. Did I hear correctly? A late staggeringly drop down and give me 20. Chop chop. That's it's for Mimi, I think. Oh, right here we got a number 19. There's the Fabs right there. Fabuloso.
Let me ask you a question. In this picture here, did Terry Gordy look like he was shocked to get that picture? Like he was surprised, like, whoa, wait a minute now, you're taking a picture.
Y'all remember that picture when they had when the album, the song came out, and they had that big party, and they were dressed in tuxes, and there was Terry in a tux with no shirt on. Do you remember that wild-eyed look he had? And I asked him about that. I said, Terry, what are you looking at? You know, to be that wild-eyed in that picture. And he said, well, you got to seen all them girls, all the stuff they were showing me that day.
Either that or he got his payoff from the sportatorium thing. I heard they did not get paid well there. That even Bill Watts did not pay them well. So I don't. So Terry told me one time that Georgia Championship Wrestling was the most, as far as the territory itself, what you were trips and things, he made the most money there during that. Well, Japan. I mean, he made money in Japan, but I mean, in the States, he really enjoyed working for Georgia.
Yeah, and he made so much money in Japan that even when he was with WCW, they were trying to get him to, stay full time, but they could not offer him the money he was making in Japan.
Yeah, you came to, Bill Eadie, Mass Superstar, would not give it up. So 25, what?
He was wanting to know what number 25 or your greatest tag team, number 25, Victor. I know you'll have a good one.
All right, where are we at there, Rodney?
I'm down here at the bottom right now.
All right.
And we'll get through those of you who had put other numbers. We'll hold on to those, and we'll get those in the next show. Let's see, and this was Don Garner. He's from Southeast Missouri, and this will be the last one, I think, for tonight. We've got a major drag tonight. I agree with Michael. Tommy Rich is awesome. He's always been nice to me, just Tony, like Sam Houston.
Come on, we was talking about a drag. Got a drag. Go ahead.
Apparently, we're getting your speeching style from Joe Biden. Anyway, Tommy Rich is awesome. He has always been nice to me, just like Sam Houston. I'll never have anything bad to say about either. And then here we go. Mickey Mayfield, the Mulkey Brothers.
And when it was put on them to pack out their hometown, They came through and did it.
They sure
They
did.
did. And really had a decent match with the.
And we're sorry, guys, about the technical problems tonight, and there is a lag that's even throwing all of us off tonight, and we apologize for that. We'll try to see if we can get that fixed.
All right, Jack. Anything we need to talk about before we leave this evening?
I think we got it all covered.
All right, Rodney. Anything you want to talk about before we leave?
I think we've got it all done.
All right. Don't forget the Fan Fest, the big Fan Fest, Saturday, July 2nd, the Crossing at Big Creek Continental Championship Wrestling. Charlie Platt will be there. I saw that. Charlie Platt's going to be there, or as Jimmy Golden always called him, Cousin Charlie. Cousin Charlie going to be there on July 2nd. I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. We have fun on here, and we're, if we made someone upset, the only person we didn't care if we made upset was Tony Khan. But other than that, if we made you upset, we're sorry. Thank you so much.
Victor, we did get you 25. What was it? Just real quick. He had to go. So for some reason, he went over, had to go to YouTube because so he wouldn't get blocked. So Victor, what was your number 25? We'll get you in right before we leave here.
He got blocked. He gets blocked or something.
He's getting blocked.
Victor's wild, guys.
He's a bad one. We didn't get you 25, Victor. Let's get it in real quick before we go, because I know he's going to have a good one. Maybe not.
Well, while we're talking about that, we'll the local Monday market. If you live in Knoxville, Loudon, Sweetwater, Tennessee, get over there every Monday starting July the 11th. Maybe you got something you want to sell. Get over there and join us every Monday starting July the 11th, 2022, and come and see me. I will be there every Monday. All right, has he got back?
Yeah, we're going to have to go over YouTube and find out what it was.
All right. Well, we'll get to him later on. Hey, one more thing. I was going to say something. If you've not went to YouTube, you've not signed up for YouTube, go ahead and do that. It's absolutely free. Just subscribe to the page. A lot of things there. You can watch the show. It's much easier to find other shows that we have done on our YouTube channel as well. Have we got Victor yet?
He said you can't say their name on Facebook.
The Dirty White Boys.
Oh, okay. There you go.
That's what he got in trouble for.
Well, I said it earlier. We might get blocked. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got in trouble for that. Yeah, he got in trouble. But the Dirty White Boys, Tony Anthony and Lynn Denton, definitely a tremendous tag team. All right, thank everybody. We will see each and every one of you next week right here on Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. Until then, I am Brent West, along with Jack Lord and Rodney West. We enjoy bringing you Pro Wrestling Inside and Out.